2 days ago, and the trial Hollywood was dreading quietly disappeared. No verdict, no jury, just a joint statement from two sets of lawyers talking about closure. But before they sealed that deal, texts got leaked, emails went public, depositions hit the record, and what came out, nobody was supposed to read. We're not saying we know what really happened, but allegedly we do.
So it turns out it did not end with a settlement in the whole "it ends with us" Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni legal fight. Lively is now asking Baldoni and his partners to pay damages and cover her legal fees from this battle. Remember, that's after both sides declared victory, basically, after a settlement earlier this week. Lively previously had accused Baldoni of sexual harassment a few years ago during production of that movie, It Ends With Us. And she alleged his production company tried to publicly smear her when she complained.
It Ends With Us, a movie about domestic abuse, directed by Justin Baldoni, self-described male feminist TED Talk guy, the one who cried on camera about toxic masculinity. Blake Lively stars, co-produces, brings her whole brand. The book has sold tens of millions of copies. Fans are devoted. They've been waiting years for this. And then the press tour happens, and something feels wrong. According to Lively's legal filings, Baldoni made repeated sexual comments on set, talked about his pornography addiction, improvised intimate scenes that were never agreed upon, and then he allegedly walked into her trailer while she was undressed from the waist up, uninvited. Her co-star, Jenny Slate, backed her up, called Baldoni in unsealed texts a false ally, said she had no interest in supporting the male feminist image he was crafting. Both women told Sony's executive Andrea Giannetti, and according to Slate's messages, Giannetti agreed with them. So what did Sony do? They kept filming. When filming paused due to the strikes, Blake came back with a document titled Protections for Return to Production. 17 points. Sign every single one. No negotiation. Or she walks. Sony had already spent $28 million. The film was unreleasable without her. They signed. And then Sony's own VP of production, Andrea Giannetti, picked up her phone and texted producer Jamie Heath, fucking terrorist. That's what she called Blake Lively, privately, while publicly standing behind her. Sony's president Sanford Panich added she did it to herself. Another exec wrote she had orchestrated all this drama in a totally unsavvy and amateur way. The movie then made $350 million at the box office, and that same exec texted Blake, "Your blood, sweat, tears, brilliant smarts, thank you 50 million times." The film drops, and immediately, Blake is getting destroyed online. Not for the allegations, those aren't public yet. She's being dragged for laughing during press interviews about a domestic abuse film, for promoting her hair care brand at the same time. It feels coordinated because, allegedly, it was. Lively's legal team alleged that Baldoni hired a crisis PR expert who deployed what they called a digital army, fake content, bot-amplified posts, engineered to make Blake the villain before she could tell her story. Things got so intense that Lively subpoenaed Perez Hilton, claiming his platform was used to spread the campaign. Perez denied everything. The ACLU showed up to defend him. Blake eventually dropped the subpoena after already getting what she needed from other defendants. January 2026, a judge unseals hundreds of documents, and what comes out reads like a group chat from another dimension. Ryan Reynolds texting his agent about the online pile-on against Blake. His agent calls Baldoni an egotistical weasel with a god complex. Reynolds calls him a human rounding error. His agent then suggests they just let the drama burn. Reynolds replies, "How'd that work out for Depp?" referring to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the case that launched 1,000 TikToks. The irony? Baldoni had reportedly hired someone from Depp's crisis PR team. Then there's Taylor Swift. Baldoni's team alleged that Blake used Taylor's influence as leverage, no way of bringing her into a conversation to pressure him into accepting Blake's version of a scene. Swift denied involvement. The judge denied the subpoena, but the unsealed texts show Taylor privately calling Baldoni a word that rhymes with itch. She was not neutral. And then Jameela Jamil, one of Blake's most vocal public defenders, posted in support, showed up for her. Privately, unsealed texts show she called Blake a suicide bomber and a villain. And finally, Blake herself, a text she sent Baldoni during production. If you ever watch Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons. Allegedly. Lively filed 13 claims. The judge threw out 10 of them, including the sexual harassment claims against Baldoni personally. What survived? Retaliation and breach of contract. Not against Baldoni, against his production company. Baldoni's $400 million countersuit, dismissed. His case against the New York Times, dismissed. Trial was set for May 18th, 2026. On May 4th, 2 weeks before jury selection, they settled. Terms undisclosed. Their joint statement said the process presented challenges and that Blake's concerns deserved to be heard. That's all we got.
Y'all, Justin Baldoni speaks on Blake Lively's claim that she won the settlement and she won everything. This is so funny. Let's be clear. This is a win and total victory for the Wayfarer parties. Court has already dismissed 10 of the 13 of Blake Lively's claims, including every SH claim, every defamation claim, and all the claims against the individual defendants. Lively voluntarily dismissed the rest. In our view, they settled because they knew they were going to lose in court. All that remains is a pending request for fees based on a very narrow issue that's been with the court since September. Oh, but it's not done because now Blake allegedly is trying to come after them for all the money she thinks they owe her for lawyers' fees. She wants them to pay that full $60 million bill that she racked up. Is she so delusional that she's going to start giving interviews to try to convince all of us that she's right? Does she really think that she has the power to gaslight us and override our minds and what we saw and what we heard? I love Justin's lawyer for this. Justice for Justin. What do you guys think?
Blake took on a director, a PR machine, and an entire engineered online narrative. She made things deeply uncomfortable for a lot of powerful people, but the sexual harassment claim itself was dismissed before it ever reached a jury. Baldoni denied everything and walked away without a personal verdict against him. But the texts are public, the smear machine story is public, the Sony emails are public, and the sequel, the It Ends With Us sequel, from a film that made $350 million, still belongs to Baldoni's production company. Whether that ever gets made is a whole other conversation. Here's the thing though, a movie about a woman being controlled by a powerful man became a legal battle about a woman alleging she was being controlled by a powerful man, and Hollywood, which texted congratulations at $50 million, called her a terrorist in private, and rallied around her publicly, is now moving on like none of it happened. If nothing happened on that set, why did it take all of that to make it stop? We're not saying it's true, but allegedly. As always, if nobody else is going to say it, we will. Don't forget to subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.